Welcome to the Inbound Back Office Podcast, where we chat with smart agency owners about agency challenges. I'm Holly Reed, strategist at Inbound Back Office, white label, plug and play staff augmentation and recruiting for your marketing agency. Today on the show, we're welcoming back Julie Nichols, owner of Julie Nichols Marketing. We're doing part 4 of our 6-part series on building a marketing agency. Today's episode is called Niching Down. Welcome, Julie.
Hey, Holly. Thanks for having me back. I just did the Home Alone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, how have we been doing this for 4 months already? So
I know, it's crazy. I was like, when I was setting up the notes, I was like, oh my goodness, it's already part 4. Like we're now halfway through and now over halfway through. So I am excited to get some updates from you about how things have gone over the last month, but also talking about niching down. But before we do that, why don't you just give our listeners a little bit about you and what you do, just for those who may be jumping in for the first time.
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Julie, and I am a marketing strategist, and I love to help small businesses to find their audience online. And I just started back on June 1st, and right now it's November 14th. I have no idea what date it is unless I look at my Apple Watch. And I would love to connect with folks that have more, I would say, have a need for someone to kind of take them by the hand and show them all that they could be doing in marketing with their business, especially those who already have been working their business for a while and have been, doing really well with referrals and word of mouth, and now they want to grow. So those seem to be a really good fit for me.
Awesome. I love it. You're getting narrowed down on what you're doing, how you're serving people and helping people grow. So
And I'm narrowing it down even further, but we'll get into that.
Yes. I'm excited to hear about it. So give us an update. How have things gone since the last episode?
Sure. So, Holly, I just listened to the most recent episode a few days ago, and it's kind of crazy how much better things are going now. So,
yay!
Yeah, I know. Like, thank God.
We're on the upswing of the entrepreneurial journey.
Right. So it's like the last episode was running up that hill, and I literally felt like I was like clawing my way up to the top of this mountain. And now I feel like I'm kind of like just about like standing on it and kind of looking around and being like, oh, okay. The things that I've been doing are converting. They're paying off. Things are happening. They're finding me some really incredible people who want me to do things for them.
Awesome.
And I'm like totally flattered and overwhelmed, and I'm excited because it's like the people that are hearing me talk, are seeing my posts, are sometimes meeting me through people that really I'm close friends with, or like they just have met me through networking or whatever. Like they're getting what I'm doing. Like
awesome.
They're listening to how I advise them, and they're actually doing those things, and they're trusting me, and they're excited to do more with me. And I'm finding some clients who I just know are going to be long-term because like we really mesh so well, and I have the expertise that I know can help their businesses, and they're seeing that too.
That's awesome.
So I guess I'm kind of turning into something of a fractional CMO, which I don't hate, because I do have that ability to see the bigger picture. I do know a lot about all the different kinds of marketing. I really know the most about content marketing, but I do know about, I do have some expertise in like ads and, in print marketing and that kind of stuff. So I'm also able to advise people on like things that they never really thought of. Like, hey, are you going to trade shows for the area that your business is in?
Right.
When you go to the trade shows, what are you doing? Are you making appointments at the booths with the people who are the decision makers, or are you just kind of wandering around aimlessly? Like those kinds of things that they're like, oh, I didn't even know you could do that. I'm like, yeah. Like at the booths, there's always that like thing at the back of the booth where you're like, what's behind there? Mostly it's like storage for the trade show booth for the brand. But a lot of times they have a little office put up back there where they have secret meetings. And you can do that. Like you can reach out to somebody from the brand and be like, anybody at your booth gonna, in marketing? Is anybody at your booth gonna be in operations? Like whatever it is. And you could
Yeah.
ask to meet them. You'd be like, hey, I'm gonna be there. How's Tuesday at 10 a.m.? And
Right.
then you have a meeting and then you can pitch to them your services. So this is the kind of stuff that like are making people like lean forward, like, oh my God. And it's all stuff that I've done and I've been there, done that. And it's like, it just brings me such joy to see that when they lean forward,
Yes.
So yeah, things are going well. I'm putting together a lot of proposals, and this is something that I could really use your expertise on, because I so far have just been quoting people on a project basis.
Yeah.
And now the question is, at what point do I offer a retainer model? Because I'm now starting to get people who are like, okay, pitch me like a 6-month contract.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, there's so much I want to do for you, client. And I know exactly what I want to do for you. But is this really something more of like a monthly retainer than?
Right.
And then like, what does that even look like? Like, how do I know? Like, if I've got all of these things I want to do over the next 6 months, like, how do I figure out how many hours a month that's going to take? Like, how do you even do that? I'm kind of overwhelmed right now, and I'm dragging my feet on sending a proposal to this one person because I don't want to get it wrong. And I feel bad because it's been like a week since we talked about it, but every day I've been like trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of hitting my head against a wall because I don't want to undersell myself.
Right. Right. I mean, that's a great question. And there's a lot of different models, right? There's the retainer model. There's the, shorter retainer model, a contract model, right? Or there's project-based, value-based, all these different things, hourly, all of that. And what is important is to know, like, how do you want to work, right? Kind of like start there. If people are asking you for a retainer, or if they're just saying, hey, what does 6 months look like? What could you do for me in 6 months? That could either be retainer, or it could be like, here's the price of that. Like basically what you're offering, right? What the result is going to be and all the work that goes into it. And here's what it would cost. You could tell them upfront, and you could say you can do 6 monthly payments or halfway through and at the end. You can have milestone payments set up in there. It really depends on how you want to structure it and how they're comfortable paying with it. And some of that comes through conversation, especially when you're just starting out. It's the same with your offers, right? It's the same concept of, you can either go based on what people say they want or how you want to do it, or some hybrid in between, right? And so the biggest thing is, don't let that contract go another day, right? Like that proposal, right? Because even if you get it wrong the first time, it doesn't mean that you have to continue to do it that way the rest of the time. And I'm a firm believer in do it and fail fast, or nothing's really a failure. You're learning, right? So as you put these proposals out there and someone asks you, hey, what would 6 months of this look like? You have a few things you have to think through. Is, do I want to give them the whole enchilada right away? That could be overwhelming to them.
Yeah.
Right. Or do I say, here's what I could do for you in the next 6 months? And you have to look at realistically, what do you have time for? What do you believe you can pull off? And you can price it out in the sense of not having it be this kind of like, oh, I'm just going to throw a number out there. You can figure out, how much is your time worth to you? What subcontractors might you need, and what's the going price for that? So you can kind of piece it together, kind of this hybrid option, right? And understanding, there was actually a good podcast we recorded a little bit ago. It'll come out later though. But it's about that, like kind of the in-between model of value-based versus hourly, and figuring out that in-between of like, here's what I'm offering you. And if you know your bottom line and you know how much your payroll is, then you can price things appropriately and not undersell yourself.
Okay.
So some of it's just literally sitting down and doing math and guesstimating how long these projects would take you, or what the price of a subcontractor would be for those projects.
See, I told my kids, like, you need to learn math. This is what, like, I'm sure, like, guys, they don't believe me.
Yeah.
Like they're in
Yeah.
5th grade. They're like, I'm never going to use this. I'm like, yes, you will.
Yeah.
Mommy does math all the time. Yes.
Right.
So, okay. It's so stressful.
Well, and part of it too, like it does take some of the pressure off yourself, right?
Okay.
This could be the first project that you're landing like this, and you're going to learn from it. You're going to you have to get into that mindset space of accepting the fact that you're not going to probably knock it out of the park the first time you're up to bat. You may overprice yourself and they don't go for it, or you may underprice yourself and you realize, oh, you should have had more boundaries in there, or whatever. Scope creep, all that stuff comes in. But if you can sit down and think about, take all the data you have so far, what you've done for other clients, how much did you make enough? What was there, not enough profit margin? Do you need to up it a little bit? What is the size of the company that you're pitching? What is their budget? Do you know their budget? Like, what are some of those things that, if it's a larger company, I mean, I think I've told you this before. I've known people that have lost contracts because they underbid.
Right.
And so
then the company looked at them like, oh,
they're probably not that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you have to take that into account too. How big are they? What is their annual revenue? What are they probably used to spending on marketing costs? And what is the value and the results that you can provide, and what guarantees can you give them?
Okay. You've given me a lot to think about. This is very helpful. Yeah, I really want to try to get that client something by the end of today, because I'm just like, I just need to kind of pull the trigger and send something and get the conversation going. It's a situation where it's kind of like the person is like, that they don't really have a budget, but they have a line of credit that they're going to be dipping into for this. And they're tired of waiting to get this thing going. And they're basically like, it's not like whatever it costs, but like, I think if I set out a number that was like realistic and not too big, they would be like, yes.
Right. So if you know that, then figure out, if you kind of know what the number is, figure out what you would offer within that number, right? And what feels good. And I think we talked about this a little bit last time with the offer creation. Is it doesn't mean that you have to undersell yourself and offer a whole farm for a lower price or whatever, right? So go back to that conversation that we had and think through, okay, well, if this is the number I think they would go for, here's what I could include in that. And some part of negotiation is this, like, what can you include that doesn't cost you anything, but that's high value to them?
Yeah.
Because everything's up for negotiation. You're throwing the first pitch out there, right? You're going, here's what I can do for you. Here's the value. Here's the results we can expect to get. And here's the price for that for 6 months.
Okay.
You can pay it whatever way, right? And then you go, and then they can come back to you and go, oh, that's too high, or I need more in it, whatever.
I think what I'm going to do, so I've already created one proposal that has like everything I want to do in it. I think I'm then going to copy that, take a few things out, and then be like, here's what this would cost. Then make another copy, take even more things out, and then that will be like the cheapest level. And then see which one they go for.
Exactly. Good, better, best.
I still would intend, so everything on the best list, if they decide not to go with best, they just decide to go with better or good, then I would save those things for the next 6-month contract.
Exactly.
So it's like I'm pricing things the same. It just depends on how long they want it to stretch out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that is the typical approach, right? It's the tried and true approach of the good, better, best. And it allows you to go, here's everything I could do for you. But you're kind of, think of it in phases, like, because you don't want to overwhelm the client either, right? Okay, phase 1, here's what we need to do. Here's why we need to do it. Here's the results we can get. And that can lead us to future phases that I have planned out. And if you have those kind of planned out in your mind, if they ask, you can go, okay, so phase 1 is 6 months. Phase 2, the next 6 months would look like this. And this is what that would cost. And phase 3 is this. Sometimes they don't ask and they're like, I'm good with phase 1 and we'll figure that out when we get there. But you kind of have it in the back of your mind. And it could adjust during that first 6 months as well, right? So sometimes people want to propose the whole thing at the beginning, and sometimes clients want that, but sometimes they just want to get through 3 or 6 months and get some results, and then they can reinvest into their business.
Okay. This is really great. Thank you for walking me through this because, like I said, like I'm a newborn baby.
Yeah.
And all of these things, a lot of people listening are kind of like, duh, Julie, good, better, best. Like, hello. But for me, it's like, especially since everything I've been doing so far has just been on a project basis. So it's
Yeah.
like, but like short-term projects, like, oh, this is
Yeah.
going to take me 2 weeks. Like 6 months is like, oh my God, how do I even begin to wrap my mind around this? So
Yeah.
this is really great. Um, I wanted to also share with you, like, I was said, let's call this one the niching down because I think, and is it like, I always feel kind of like a little like too fancy saying niche. Is it niche or niche? Like,
I have no idea. I get confused every time. I think it just depends what part of the country you're from, maybe. I don't even know. Maybe how high up in business you are. I've always called it niche because they say like the riches are in the niches. So that's why I've always said it that way. But I've heard people call it a niche
right?
too. So, I mean, tomato, tomato, I guess.
Right, potato, exactly. Let's call the whole thing off. Okay. So maybe I'll just use it, go back and forth.
Yeah.
So niching down, I am figuring out that I have really great expertise in community building around a common interest.
Nice.
So, because that is like hands down what I did for 8 years.
Yeah.
It was a community that was all like focused on this one thing, parenting, and all of the different offerings that I was able to build around all of those things there can completely apply to
Yep.
any other community.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, oh my God, like, I think this is what I want to do. Like,
yeah.
And I think that I still want to be open to working with small businesses that aren't community based, but I think I really have great expertise in a community. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I haven't changed any of my messaging yet, but that's something I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that, how I want to start putting that out there.
Yeah.
So because there's that, like, okay, well, once I start niching down and I start putting it out there, are some clients who I actually would like to work with are like, oh, I don't have a community. That's not what I do. So she's not going to be right for me. There's that, like, when is it a good time? So when is it a good time, Holly? When is it a good time to niche down?
Well, you're cracking me up because at the moment you said I'm going to niche down, but then I still have these other clients I want to work with. Like, this
Right?
is
That's not niching down.
this is literally the dilemma, the pain points of any agency niching down, right? Or any marketer or entrepreneur or whatever niching down. They go, well, I don't want to lose my safety blanket over here.
Yeah.
Right. And the fallacy in that is that if I niche down, I'm going to lose money. That's the belief.
Yes.
Right. Which it's actually the opposite, right? Like the riches are in the niches, right? If you can niche down and go, I market community-based businesses, or hey, have you ever thought about creating a community around this business? Because there's that too. Maybe those businesses that you're saying they don't have a community, maybe they just haven't done that yet. And that's what you can build for them, right? Maybe they actually do fit in your niche, but they just haven't thought that way. Or they're not asking for that yet because they don't know they need it yet. So there's a couple ways to think about that. When is the right time to niche down? It's when you know what your niche is.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right, because I've never been a halfway person.
Yeah.
I'm either all in or I'm all out.
Same.
So I kind of feel like, well, I know you're right in this, but it's like, oh, I'm so scared.
Everybody is. That's a very normal feeling. Any agency owner, when they like cut services, right? Like, or they niche down to a certain industry, it's a scary thing because you feel like you're cutting off your leg, right? Like, and especially if your business is new and you're like, well, I need this income for my family. And like, it's a whole thing, right? You can do it wisely. You can keep the clients you have right now while you change your messaging and attract more of the clients that you want. You don't have to totally be like, well, I'm not working with you,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's not like people I'm currently working with are going to be like, wait a minute, I noticed that LinkedIn post on how you're niching down, and now I'm done with you. Goodbye forever. Like,
Right.
that's not going to happen.
No.
So, okay. Well, that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
If you have
And it
any
gives you
advice around that would, any more advice, like just tell me everything. What do I do, Holly? Tell me everything.
what do I do? What do I do? No, I think that here's the thing. I actually think a lot of people know what to do. They just choose confusion and because they're afraid to make a choice, right? They're afraid to make a decision. And
That's a truth bomb. You just did a mic drop.
and I think that what you can do is strategically look at this, right? You're a strategist, you think this way. Look at the clients you currently have and go, which of them could I offer this service to, this new niche of services or niche of services, whatever we want, however we want to call it, who could benefit from this? And kind of let your mind start to go there and go, okay, if I built a community around this business, what would that look like? What would that offer be? Because some of those like you said, you work with people that right now that maybe aren't community-based businesses. So find a way to figure out, could they be that?
Mm-hmm.
Could I pitch that to them? Mm-hmm. What would that offer look like? And how would I message it to them? What that's going to do is using that as an exercise that then actually I would send proposals out to those people or start those conversations with those people, is that's going to help you narrow down your messaging for your website, for your offers, for your lead generators, and all your social posts. Because as you practice, okay, this is what I would do, you're going to start to build your offerings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Namaste. It's like you give such incredible advice, and she's not paying me, everybody, by the way, just so you know. And whenever I think this is pretty common when people get really good advice from people, it's not easy to hear. It's like,
right,
you feel that like, wow, it's like taking your medicine.
right?
It's like, oh God, I know I need to take this medicine. I know it's going to make me feel better, but it's like, ugh, it's gross.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking for that spoonful of sugar, to quote one of my favorite movies, Mary Poppins. I mean, really, there's no flaw in that movie. But I wanted to share with you some of the things, because last time we spoke, I was talking about redoing my office.
Yes.
That space for myself. And you were like, Julie, that chair that you really want to get, like that should be a goal. Make it a goal for yourself. Don't wait for somebody to buy it for you at the holidays or your birthday. And guess what? There's my chair.
I see the chair. I love it. That's so you. I love it.
Sorry if everybody is listening on a podcast and can't see this chair, but go on YouTube and watch the video.
Exactly.
It's like a teal, no, not a teal, it's like an aqua, and it's got like roses and butterflies, and I got it on sale on Wayfair. They're not paying me what they should. And I got a cute little end table too. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes, I love it.
I wanted something that was big enough that it could hold like a cup of coffee and maybe one other thing, but I didn't want it to take up too much space.
Yeah.
Also, I got a rug.
I love it. So how do you feel in your space? And did you hit certain goals that then you bought the chair for yourself? Or like, how did all that come about? And how do you feel in your new space?
Yes. So I did land a contract that I was hoping to land. Awesome. And that's why I bought the chair. I was like,
reward yourself.
I rewarded myself. I love it so much. And that's now awesome. I sit in it. It's like my thinking chair. And I'll also pull my desk chair up to it and put my legs on it so that I can really like, and it just forces me to get away from my computer. Also, one of my very good friends who's phenomenal, she is an artist and she worked in a gallery, and she loves to come into people's homes and help them to just basically redecorate. Yeah. So she's the one who came in and was like, you need a rug. And I was like, yes, I do. And I found one on Wayfair. I mean, they're like, if you're listening recently, well, I guess this is publishing after Thanksgiving, but like Black Friday sales have already started, everybody. And she also was the one who was like, Julie, you got to do something with that white wall. It's too white. It's like institutional white. I was like, you're right. God damn it. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, but I just painted it myself. No one, okay, my 10-year-old helped me a little bit, but like I did it myself and now I'm like, damn, you're right. So, okay, I'm going to show you some swatches. Sorry, you got to go watch this on YouTube. It's a bunch of like grayish, bluish. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm going to keep the doors white, but and I'm going to keep the brick wall white to the side. But yeah, so I'm doing it. We're going to get some curtains that are going to be sheer to kind of dissipate the light.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
Yay!
It's making me want to be in here more. It's making me use the room more. And it's making me feel like this is an actual office and not just like a third bedroom catch-all.
Yeah.
Though it's still kind of serving as a catch-all because behind that door is my pantry. So it's like there's nowhere else for this stuff to go. Guys, I live in a ranch house. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath with a galley kitchen, and the dining room and the living room are like one space. So like we have nowhere to go. So I'm making it work. And I just wanted to thank you for encouraging me to set a goal for myself. And to reward myself, because I did. And it was so exciting when it arrived. And I was like, yay.
Well, and it does make you more productive and feel like, I think there's a piece when you start any business in an agency, you're doing marketing, it's a creative thing, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's strategy based and you're not designing, it's creative strategy, right? You have to have a space where you feel relaxed, calm, and that you can be creative and that inspires you. And I think a lot of people forget that confidence comes when you feel good in your space. And I remember when I ran cross country and track in high school and college, they're like, look your best, run your best. And so all our uniforms, were really nice because it was like, if you looked good, you felt good, you ran good. And I think that applies to business too, where if you feel good in your space and it looks good and it's somewhere you want to be, it's going to motivate you to work more. It's going to motivate you to be more creative. I mean, I did that with my office. I love this wall that my husband did and the couch that I have and the light that I have and all the things, because it makes me want to be in here. It makes me feel relaxed. And I have a little coffee table that usually sits right here. I bring my desk over when I do podcasts, so it's nice and,
oh, cool,
squared in. But it has to be a space that feels good to you. And I think that reward system as well helps motivate you. Like, okay, what could I get next for my office? And what's the next goal? And it just helps breed confidence and creativity.
I love it. Yes, 1,000% yes. I want to also talk a bit. I'm sorry, I'm like totally just telling you what we're talking about.
No, I love it. I love this. We're hitting on all different things. We hit on niches. We've hit on office decoration. We hit on offers. And yeah, it's great. I love it. Keep going.
All of the networking that I have been doing for like the past, I would say 9 months, because I was networking a lot when I still thought I was going to work in corporate before I finally decided to pull the trigger on my business. It is really paying off. Yeah. And it's also giving me the opportunity to start connecting other people that I'm meeting. And I'm really loving it. Like, I'm really enjoying, like, and it's funny because, I feel like let me back up. So I'm now meeting people who are in the place where I was 5 or 6 months ago.
Right.
And who are like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And I'm like, I've been doing this 5 months. Like, let me show you the ropes. Like I'm some sort of like pro at this now. But, it just goes to show you, like, you are an expert to somebody who is like 10% less knowing than you.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It's been really enjoyable to like meet really great people who really need help. And being like, well, now I'm in a position where I can give you that help and they're like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Let me pay you. And for a lot of them, I'm like, you're broke. Like, no, I'm not going to take your money. I'm going to help you. And I now get it, because that's where I was, not 6 to 9 months ago, where people were just giving me help. And I was like, why are you helping me? Like, I'm not paying you. Yeah. And people were like, shut up, just take my help. And I was like, but I feel bad. And now I get it. Like, now it's my turn. Like, now I'm helping those people. And now I get it, that like, that's because I got the help I needed when I was starting out. And so I just feel like it's kind of starting to come full circle.
Yes.
And the networking that I'm doing now is a lot more narrowed
Yeah.
and with a purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm not just meeting with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm, really trying to like focus in on, what is something that this is a person where we can mutually benefit from
Yeah.
this discussion.
Yeah.
And I need to carve out time for that in my calendar. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm doing. And things where it's more like, well, I can't really see the connection, but like maybe it's worth trekking out anyway. Let's schedule that not for another like 3 to 4 weeks from now, and make it just a 20-minute conversation, which can then expand into another conversation later if it goes somewhere. So I'm doing a lot better at protecting my time, and it's really just allowing me more time to actually work, number one.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, I got all this stuff to do. But then to also just not have that overwhelming feeling, because I'm an extrovert for sure, but I also have a little bit of introversion. Like I'm an extroverted introvert, I think, because sometimes then it just gets a little overwhelming when it's too much, and I'm bad at pulling back. And so I'm trying to become more aware of that, and it's working.
So
a lot less overwhelmed.
Yeah. Do you realize that you just niched down your networking in the way that you need to niche down your business, and you just listed a ton of benefits to niching down your networking opportunities, and how you don't feel overwhelmed anymore, and how it doesn't mean you won't have the conversation, but it's shorter and it's pushed off. And so it gives you more time and more focus on the meetings and the work that you actually want to do.
Touche. Touche, Holly. You were right. You're 1,000% right. And that's it. I have nothing else. Like, I'm done. Podcast ends. Like,
I was like, if people watch the video, I was laughing the whole time, because I'm like, you're literally describing niching down. And this is the fun thing though, is you were able to do it in one aspect of your business and who you are. Mm-hmm. So what you can do now is look at all the benefits, like write them down, all the benefits you got from niching down your networking, and draw the parallels and go, okay, if it benefited me so much just niching that down, how is it going to benefit me niching down my services and my target market and what I'm doing and who I'm going after? Because it's going to be tenfold in that arena.
Yes, you're right. I love it. You have so many nuggets of wisdom. It's the brain. I'm starting to get that good headache again. Good headache. I feel like I need to make a t-shirt that says that. I feel like I need to make a whole line of, maybe that'll be my next business. I'm going to become a serial entrepreneur. I'm going to come out with
let's focus. Let's focus.
Down. Focus. That good headache. Good, better, best.
Yeah.
Like, please, if anybody has a line of entrepreneurial t-shirts, mugs, etc., send me an email, julie@julienicholsmarketing.com, because I feel like I need to buy some things with, all the money I don't have. Maybe I'll make it a goal. That'll be my next goal. Get some merch for myself.
There you go.
That can make me feel great about being an entrepreneur. Gosh, what else did I want to tell you? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Whatever. There's so many, you give me so many incredible things to think about. And I'm so pumped for what's going to happen next. And I feel like once the holidays come, there's going to be a little bit of like a, like a stagnation, but I want to make sure I get the work. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So one project that I've been working on since this summer, it was my first big project. We are finally moving forward into the next phase, and I'm so excited. So we did a rebrand, and my subcontractor and super awesome buddy, Christy Mirabelli, she did a rebrand for an incredible nonprofit who does incredible work for so many people. And we just launched the site, and it looks phenomenal. And
Yay.
now, yay, I'm super irritated though with the IRS because there's something going on that like we can't accept donations yet. And I really wanted to do it all at once, but what can we
Right.
do?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. And then I'm going to launch like a campaign to start getting donations coming in. But we don't have a donation page right now because like the system is all jacked up and we can't accept donations right now. It's so annoying. So, but that's happening and it's just like, yes, like
That's
it's
awesome.
actually coming to be. So really great wins all around. And I think that like, there's definitely some things that like I'm not getting. I want you to make sure people listening aren't like, well, you know, ow, everything's going great for her. Like, what do I need to listen to this for? But there are some things that I'm not getting, everybody. Just want you to know I'm just not really talking about them because the majority of stuff is working out. And so that's been just really fantastic. And I'm also just like getting approached by people who are actually in the marketing world and want my help for their agencies.
That's
and
awesome.
Want to subcontract me for other things through them. And I'm like, hell yeah, like let's do this. So anybody out there listening with a marketing agency, which is probably 99% of you, let me know. But yeah, so that's really exciting too.
Well, and I think here's the thing is I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, they feel like they have to apologize when they do are on the upswing, right? They're rolling down that hill and they're able to like gain some momentum. But if people listen to episode 3, they would just hear how things were bumpy there during that month and like how you were pushing up the hill. So I want to encourage you, like, take the win, own the win. You don't have to have an asterisk by it because everybody knows the entrepreneur journey goes up and down, and you're on the up right now, and enjoy it. Don't worry about putting an asterisk next to it. We had that episode last time, so enjoy it, celebrate the win. And I was going to say too, like, as good as you feel when you get a win, when your clients get a win, find a way to help them get a reward and celebrate them. And a great way for agencies to even celebrate their clients is some little thing that that you do when they win, when they have a launch, and it kind of brings everybody together and makes everyone feel really excited. If there's some way to delight your customer, your clients, with like, hey, this is what I give to people when we launch a website or we launch a community or whatever, it's some little thing.
What are some ideas? Do you have any ideas for what that thing could be?
I am trying to think, because the one thing in my head, and I'm going to go back to Erica Bryant here, I'm giving her lots of shout outs, but she, when on coaching calls, she would do like this, it's this little monkey that has these symbols, and so when someone reported a win, she held it up and it would clap. It's silly, but like, you want that monkey on your coaching call, like, it's a little thing. But like, I know that other agencies might like do a gift basket or do or some sort of little trinket or something that, it's not really about what it is. It's just about that, hey, we're celebrating this big win. Congratulations. You launched your site, or you built your community, or you launched your podcast, whatever it might be.
I love it. That's a great idea. I'm going to start thinking about like what little thing I can do for my client where we just finally got to launch the site. So
yeah,
it's a huge win for them. Like they're over the moon. Their website that they've had forever has just been like not serving them well. And now I know that this new website is going to be great for them. So yes, I'm going to do something like that. That's a great idea. Thank you for that idea.
And like little win, like when that page gets to go up for donations, you can send them like a celebratory email with a GIF in it, that just celebrates it. You can do like little things that don't even have to cost you or the company a ton. It's just like, hey, we're going to celebrate these wins. It makes them feel good, like they crossed a finish line of something, and keeps them coming back for more.
I love that idea. All right, I'm going to go send a really awesome GIF right now, and maybe some sort of, I don't know, maybe something on Amazon, because then it'll be fast and it'll be free shipping.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Well, Julie, this has been a fun conversation. I mean, I can't believe we only have 2 more. I totally look forward to these every month. I'm like, oh, I get an update from Julie. And obviously we follow each other on social. And so I get to see little updates of you swimming with a snorkel and things like that. I love it. I do. I loved it. I saw it this morning. So before we end, tell everyone where they can follow you and see your snorkel pictures and your other great information online.
Everybody, you can find me at julienicholsmarketing.com. That's Nichols marketing.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Julie Nichols Marketing. That will lead you to my personal profile. And you can also find my business page if you just search Julie Nichols Marketing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Julie. And I look forward to our update that this one goes out December 8th. And so when we meet in December, it'll be the first of the year when the next one goes out. So I look forward to that. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Yay. Thanks, Holly. You have an awesome day.
You too. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the Inbound Back Office podcast, brought to you by Inbound Back Office, white label plug and play staff augmentation and recruiting for your marketing agency. You can find Inbound Back Office at inboundbackoffice.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, take a minute, leave us a review, and share it with other agency owners, especially those that are just starting out, because this will be really helpful to them to learn about Julie's journey and the different things she's going through. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our weekly episodes. Until next time.